should have walked there 50 seconds. You would have had a better.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us right now, we are broadcasting from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of the city of Philadelphia, and we have right here Vincent Thompson. Vincent, just go ahead and just introduce yourself to the people that are watching. Right?
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be coming from West Philadelphia, and I'm Vincent Thompson. I'm a longtime political consultant here in Philadelphia, a longtime political reporter. I work for a lot of media outlets, and I've also worked in government over the years. I currently work in government now, so I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Absolutely. Awesome. And sitting directly to Vincent's right is Minister Ishmael al-Islam, the minister here in Philadelphia, representing the Honorable Silas Muhammad of the Lost Foundation of Islam. Their headquarters, Campbellton Road, Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Minister, good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to see you back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's good to be back in the city of Philadelphia. Let me start, in fact, Ishmael, Minister Ishmael, let me start with you. And just to let everybody know, we are broadcasting from Major League Cuts. This is the spot that President Obama once visited. Actually, he was a senator at the time running to be president, our first African-American president. So we're honored to be here. Minister Ishmael, I want to, as you recall, about 4 years ago, right? We were in a church, and I asked you a question about, at that time, candidate Donald Trump. And the fact that he was a man who had absolutely no political experience, no governing experience, and I said, there's no way in the world that this man could win the presidency of the United States, a neophyte, but yet the man won. And something that you said then, you said, Kevin, his message is very simple. It ain't geared to us. It's geared toward them. These are people, they don't have a high school education. They're simple in terms of they work, they come home, they trying to put bread on the table. Your analysis was very, very sharp. So, Minister Ishmael, I want to start with you. How did we get Donald Trump as president?
Well, first of all, let me just give thanks to Major League Cuts.
Yes.
Because this is not the first time we've been here.
Yes.
They are premier in West Philly.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So we want to thank them for letting us come in and interfere with what they're doing.
Yes.
Donald Trump represents America's feeling of losing America to minorities and black people. The men in Arkansas, in the hills of Arkansas, Montana, and places like that, they want to feel like America belongs to them again. That's why we lost the political fight, because he gave them hope that they could feel empowered, that they could feel important again in America, that they have something that they can call their own once again. Look at his motto: make America great again. What does that presuppose? That America has fallen from its greatness. Why? Because the minorities have taken over America in his estimation. That is the idea that he put out to those who feel like we don't have ownership. And again, he's still doing it.
Well, he's going to the same playbook that worked 4 years ago.
And you're supposed to. That's a smart man. That's, if it worked for me then, why can't it work for me now? And believe me, the percentage of those Europeans will come out, along with the 9% of Afro-descendants and minorities who will not.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be, in my estimation, tight for those who believe in the political party. I'm going to let...
Yes.
My brother, you are straight on with your thing, with your analysis. Listen, I was one of the few political reporters that worked for black media that was at the Republican National Convention 4 years ago. I was in Cleveland. And what I told everybody then is Donald Trump could win. People look at me like I was a fool.
Yes, sir.
But I tell people all the time, what the Republicans are good at doing is they fall in line. Democrats have to fall in love with the candidate. Republicans fall in line. They might not like Donald Trump 4 years ago, but they hated Hillary. And they didn't want a woman to take over after a man.
I would agree.
And let me tell you this fact, ladies and gentlemen. 52% of white women voted for Donald Trump. 52% of white women voted for Donald Trump. So white women didn't even vote for another white woman to be president. Don't blame black women. Don't blame Latino women. Don't blame black men. The reason Donald Trump is in office is white women and white men. And I'm going to tell people another thing. But he's using the same playbook.
Right.
As we record this, the Democratic National Convention has ended.
Correct.
The Republican National Convention is going to happen.
Correct.
Let me tell you what you're going to hear. You're going to hear, we made America great, we're going to make it greater. That's one. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you're going to hear every use of the American flag, patriotism, the economy, everything. And they're also going to use fear. Because that's what revs up the base. The fear of minorities, the fear of immigrants, the whole China, the whole build the wall.
The racial
no, but like it's code
the
word.
Social uprising, George Floyd, they're burning down the city.
Yeah, they're burning down
Democrats. The businesses, they're breaking out windows.
You don't want that.
We need law and order.
Yep. And if you don't have it, if you don't have me, you're not going to have that. And I'm telling you, every election, I want people to learn this. Do not count the popular vote. Popular vote's important, but don't count it. You need to count states. Because a president is elected by the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Democrats are probably going to get the most votes.
Correct.
But if they don't get them in enough states, it don't matter. Donald Trump won states that he should have never won. He won Pennsylvania by less than 70,000 votes.
That is correct.
If one section of Philly had come out and voted for Hillary, he wouldn't have won Pennsylvania. Think about it. The average city council district has 150,000 people. So if a half of a city council district had come out and voted for Hillary, Donald wouldn't have won Pennsylvania. Everything in an election is a mass game. That's what this election is. On election night, look at the states and add up the electoral votes. That'll tell you who it is. On election night, I worry about when they say we've clinched Pennsylvania, we've clinched this, because most of the electoral votes are winner take all. So it's not like you get a proportion because you did well. It's winner take all. So you got to read it. If Donald Trump starts winning the states that he did last time, he gonna win. Joe Biden is gonna need. He's gonna need to win some states that Donald Trump won last time. Now I'm telling you another thing I'm worried about in this election too. Kanye West is on 10 state ballots. Kanye West has made the ballot in 10 states. They're going to be votes for Kanye. And those votes are going to take away from Joe Biden. It's going to be a hard-fought election because everybody's going for their base. Well, Donald's going to be at his base.
Let's look at it from another perspective.
Right.
Okay.
Let's look at this political circus.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
It's a political circus.
That's true.
Because all in all, every time that we have this, the Democrats always smooth out to the black people. Come out, vote for Democrats. And then they end up with nothing. The Republicans tell them outright, we ain't giving you nothing. And you still gonna vote for us.
You might get $1 million.
So that is not the solution. That is not how we in the Nation of Islam look at the solution to our problem. We look at the solution is that we need to take the problem outside of America. Most people don't understand that Malcolm was the messenger's greatest student in certain people's minds.
Right.
Messenger Muhammad taught him about human rights. And if you don't have human rights, you're not going to go anywhere. In America, we don't have it. Plain and simple. You can't win trying to gain civil rights. It's like telling the government, police the police. Are you serious? Police the police. Those are my dogs that I put on you to monitor you. How am I going to police them? This is what caused all of it. Riots in Cano, remember?
So you're making reference, I think, to George Floyd and Officer Chauvin and those other 4 officers holding down this black man, sitting on his neck, depriving him of air. The other officers on his back, compressing his lungs on the back. The whole purpose was to execute this man.
Absolutely.
You had people with cell phone cameras, and thank God for the cell phone cameras, and people yelling and screaming saying, get off the man, he's not resisting. He said he can't breathe over 20 times.
Here's the difference though. And I hope your audience does not take this the wrong way. I abhor cameras. There's no way possible that I will see an officer holding you down or Brother Thompson, and I'm going to take out my camera
And not do anything,
and start filming it. Brother, I will get my head busted, but I'm going to get that cop off of me. I'm going to get him off of Brother Thompson. I'm not going to let that happen. See, this is where they have subdued us in our character. See, we'd rather take out the camera and say, ooh, look at this, look at that, look at this. Look how this cop is flinging that little girl around. Look how he's straddling the little girl. You remember that happened when she went to the pool?
That's true, right.
How he slammed her to the ground?
A little teenager.
It was a black man standing there when he did it, supporting what he did. That is a problem in our community. That is not what Messenger Muhammad raised in the FOI in black men. We were not afraid. I will not stand there and let him grab your wife and I'm going to put it on camera. I just can't do it.
At some point, we got to do like Fannie Lou Hamer said. We got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely.
Right? And the only one that's going to save us is us. In every city across this country. And I'm not saying this to be offensive, but it's true. When issues happen in the African American and Latino community, the people that usually fix them are the people in those communities.
Absolutely.
That's what happens. So we got to understand things are going to happen, right? We can play the economic game as well as anybody else, but we know it's got to happen in our communities by ourselves, for ourselves. Because sometimes, and I work in government, sometimes we become too dependent on government to fix everything.
Absolutely.
And government can't fix everything. We just cannot. We cannot fix everything that happens. Like, we can't fix stuff that happens in your home.
So let me ask you guys this, right? So Vice President Joe Biden, and of course he's made this historic selection of Kamala Harris, the first African American woman / Indian woman to be nominated vice president on a major party ticket, the Democratic Party. Right. So you're saying if they were to win, are you guys saying that you don't really, even if they do win and they have promised, that they would, and I do believe that they're sincere.
Right.
Well, let me just put it this way: I believe that Biden is sincere in terms of trying to address the racial disparities, the injustices, because that really has been
but if I can, here's what this is what this election comes down. All elections are the same. Incumbents say, vote for me, I'm going to keep life better for you. Challengers have to say, the guy's a bum, throw him out, and vote for me. Okay. So let's say Donald Trump doesn't become president.
Right.
But I'm telling people, you're hearing it from me now, there's a good likelihood he could win a second term.
I actually agree with that.
I want people to think that that's not unrealistic, because in American history, incumbents win second terms. It's very rare that an incumbent president doesn't win a second term. That's one.
Okay.
But here's the thing. If Joe Biden becomes president of the United States in November, in January, he's going to have to spend a lot of his first years in office fixing the stuff that Donald Trump did. And that mess.
Not only trying to fix it, he has to follow suit.
Right.
The next 2 years.
Right.
On those programs that Trump has already initiated.
Right.
That's just the way the game goes.
And here's another thing that people have to understand. We're talking about the presidency, but you got to talk about the Senate and the House. Here's what people don't love. The presidential election is the sexy election.
Right.
Always is. Right. It's sexy election. It's the sexy. It's the Idris Elba.
Right.
It's the Jennifer Lopez of election. Everybody understands that, but people don't understand Congress is critically important. And if you have a Democratic president but a Republican House or Republican Senate, nothing's going to happen. That's what happened with President Obama. President Obama had a lot of great things, but people voted him in, forgot that you voted Congress in, and nothing can happen. So I tell people all the time, all elections matter.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's local, I don't care if it's national. So if you're listening to this and you want to help Joe Biden win, you better help him have a Democratic Congress.
Well, I think
you better have him have a no.
And Vince, I think that is the fight. I think that is the fight.
Yeah, but people going. I'm telling you,
because you still got to get rid of Mitch McConnell. You still got to get rid of Leslie Graham and all the rest of them.
Yeah, but people are going to focus on the presidency because it's easy.
Isn't it part of the game though?
Yeah, but our job is.
But the game is to have you. It's 3 call Molly. Listen, when we play 3 call Molly on the street, right? We already know it's fixed. Right. You don't know it's fixed because the losty in your heart says, I'm going to try to get something for nothing.
Right. I'm going to get that ball.
Well, I'm going to get that ball. But it's already fixed. The game, the political game is already fixed, as nice as you well put it. Those persons in the Senate, they are the most important persons when they get on these committees.
That's true.
The appropriate committee for this, the committee for that, and they represent their constituents when it comes down. That's why they feed them money. This is why the NRA supports who they support. Why? Because when their policy come up, they say, listen, we took care of you, take care of us.
That's true. But what I'm saying is people, I'm always telling people that when there's a national election, think of the entire ticket. Don't just think of the top. Because everybody in this country going to do I'm telling you, 2 races you're going to vote on. Everybody going to vote for president, and every member of the U.S. House of Representatives is up for election.
So let me ask you a question. Now, representing Pennsylvania,
we have 21 members of Congress in Pennsylvania throughout the state. Philadelphia has 3. There's Dwight Evans, there's Brendan Boyle, and there's Mary Gay Scanlon. Mary Gay Scanlon has parts of Philadelphia and then Delaware County. But it's important that you vote them in. If you want Democrats to keep the House, when January happens, you better make sure that you vote for these people, because I can tell you what Trump is looking at. Trump's looking at Trump, number one. That's what he's looking for. And secondly, he's trying to keep as much of the Senate as possible, because he knows if he keeps the Senate, he gets things like, he blocks everything that the Democrats do in the House, and he also has that all-important Supreme Court. All-important Supreme Court.
I believe you have over 40% of the Senate that are millionaires.
That's true. That's true.
Millionaires.
Right.
Now think about this honestly. Right. Who would be the better president for them? Wouldn't it be Trump?
Yes.
Because Trump is a businessman.
That's true.
Trump understands business, how to make money.
That's true.
Senators are millionaires. They want to make more money. That's why they support Trump.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So,
but I'm still saying that what I'm saying is that voters have a choice, and you have to look at the whole election, not just a narrow election.
I agree with you in gaining a knowledge, but I disagree with how it will turn out. I think
that's fair.
The rattlesnake, excuse me, is a little bit more or less than the python.
Okay.
But they're both snakes.
That's fair.
One will choke you to death, one will bite you.
That's right. But I also think that what I've also urged is that people have to understand the process. I think people sometimes think the process is too hard to understand, and I can tell you, as a person who's in it, it's not. It's very simple. When you go to your city council person, your state rep, they listen if you come with a group.
Lobbying for it.
You know, the nation is good because you come with a force. You go and say, these are issues I need, these are the amount of people. Neighborhoods can do the same thing. I say in Philadelphia, every neighborhood could be a lobbying force. Because you could go to your city council person and say, there's 75 people in our neighborhood, and we want this. And if you don't come and give us this, we're not voting for you in 4 years. All right, so trust me, as a staffer, so I'm going to deal with that 75
Vince, and so I'm going to stray from topic just a little bit, and then we're going to tie it back into the whole national politics. Now, we're in the city of Philadelphia, as I mentioned at the top. And Philadelphia right now, every weekend, and it's interesting, as we're taping this, we're on a Saturday, but you can best believe there's going to be multiple shootings. And I don't want to speak something, but that's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. Especially on the weekends in Philadelphia. There has been an uptick and a rash of violence. What you just said is interesting. So, if black people are really tired of the violence that's happening in this city of Philadelphia, then why aren't black Philadelphians marching down to City Hall as a block and saying, we tired of this?
I think, you know what I think? I think a lot of it is just fear. You know, a lot of people are just scared. You know what I mean? They're paralyzed. Sometimes you don't do the right thing because you're paralyzed by fear and don't think you can do the right thing. Right? And sometimes the thing that shuts our minds down is ourselves. Like, I live in a neighborhood that I'm not going to let violence happen. So anybody who's looking at me right now, if you're going to come up to my neighborhood in Germantown and then you're going to sell drugs and do crime, you're going to have me to face. Right? You should worry about me. Okay. And then you worry about the cops, because you need to worry about me. And I think that if people do, in neighborhoods all over the city. But listen, I'm not done. I'm not done.
I understand.
I'm not done.
But let me just
let me finish. All right, but in black neighborhoods all over this city, there are neighborhoods doing that. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility for people to stand up and do the right thing.
Vince, right down the street from this barber shop, during around the time or shortly thereafter, with George Floyd being killed unjustly by cops, as you know, there was a domino effect across the U.S. of people protesting. Right? Now, I know the majority of people were peaceful. However, right down the street from here, you had people breaking out windows businesses in this community, as we see, it is all black. I'm saying this to say this. It didn't seem like nobody was afraid to break out windows in retail stores down the street here on 52nd and Market and start taking merchandise out of the store.
Yeah, but
I did not see no fear.
But the people who were taking that out, that wasn't 50-year-old people. That wasn't 40-year-old people. That was 20-year-old people. So let's correct. I do. But let's correct it.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
Before we blame our children,
That's true.
you got to understand that these riots, so-called riots, was a master plan that were infiltrated early on. They were planned. There were people that were actually planted.
Yeah, like Antifa.
Right. In those particular riot areas who designated to start the break-ins. I work for the city. All right? Let me tell you something. They were getting bombs. Black people don't make bombs. We don't even know how to access to get bombs. They were bombing the ATMs. This was not our people altogether. Now, some of us inadvertently got involved because we're very emotional. And we're frustrated because we have not achieved. So now they look at opportunity. Is it right? No.
And the riot is a frustration.
Right.
We can agree that riots are frustration. Right.
So,
we can agree.
it's anger, it's frustration, it's tired of being degraded by these people. So I'm not going to entirely fault our young people. And there were some older people out there.
They were, but
I see it because I work out there. I've seen them.
No, and I agree. But what I'm saying is this: I am saying that a riot is something that's irregular. Right? It's irregular. But we dealing with the murder rate every day. And 200, 300 murders are common in Philly through 3 or 4 mayors. And what I'm saying is this: until neighborhoods and citizens in neighborhoods stand up and say we're not going to tolerate this, it's going to happen. Listen, bad things happen when people don't stand up. It just happens that way. Neighborhoods that people stand up and say they're not going to tolerate going. We're in a barbershop. Major League Cuts has a rule. You ain't coming in here with no droopy pants.
That's right.
That's their rule. Now, if you don't follow their rule, you ain't getting the cut.
But see, me got men that's willing to enforce that.
That's true.
All
right.
What you're saying,
I agree with you.
Community.
I agree with you.
Most of the people that stand up in our community believe it or not are females.
That's true.
The black man is not involved like that.
That's true.
Just say, you know what, young boys,
That's true.
y'all gonna stop this.
That's true.
Ain't gonna be no more killing.
Right.
Yep.
We gonna be out here. We're gonna move. We're gonna be up and down this neighborhood.
Right.
We're gonna stop y'all.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you know why? It's called sacrifice.
Yep. And black men
Somebody gotta sacrifice themselves in order to bring about that change.
And we got to be a part of the solution too. Black men have to be part of the solution too. And that's why I say I stand up for my community because I have to. I'm worried about my.
But you by yourself.
I know I am. But you know what? I don't mind doing that with
That's not how we save.
No, I agree.
We need
everybody.
All the black men.
We need everybody.
See, not only are you in the community to save the community, but we need you in the home.
That's true.
We need you cultivating a young black mind.
Right.
We need you cultivating your children, raising them properly. We need you to come back to the home and take charge in the home so that they can see the power of the black man again. See, they don't see it no more.
But
it's gone.
But what I'm trying to say is our problems are not so insurmountable if we work together.
Of course not.
And that's what that's what I'm saying. And I think when black people have united on issues, we solve. And the only one that's going to save us is us.
I agree with you.
The only one that's going to save us is us.
When the black man decides he wants to save us.
Well, you and I.
See, when he stands up, because when you sleep, I'm cleaning up trash down here. I see what's going on.
I'm thanking you.
I see what's going on down here 52nd Street.
Right. I think.
I see the hopelessness in our people.
That's true.
I see our sisters feeling like they're not protected.
Right.
I see all of that at night.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because the black man is off doing whatever he does. See, he not in the home saying, why are you out in the street? What do you need to be out here for? You need to be in the home with our children. You need to be here so I can protect you. You don't need to be out here. See, we need to go back to that, which will save us.
And I agree. You and I are in agreement. We're in agreement. We're in agreement 150%.
If we don't stand up,
yeah, listen.
So
I'm in 100%.
Guys, let me go back to.
But I just don't think it's so insurmountable that we can't do it because we've done it throughout our history.
Agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Agree. And let me go back to George Floyd for a second. So, the four officers did get fired immediately by the Minnesota mayor. Mm-hmm. Okay. Correct, right?
That's true.
He made the right decision.
Right, but
okay. Now obviously we got to wait for the court.
Right. But that's a simple decision. I mean, it was national television. I mean, that's not rocket science. I could have made that decision.
I disagree. It's not simple. You know why? Because the power of the decision is in the DA's hand.
That's true. That is true.
And the DA, when you start looking at this DA thing, where it's rigged. You know what I mean? It's rigged. Right. Those guys, and I'm just going to project this. Okay. 4 years from now,
they get their job back.
They get a job back,
or somewhere else. Or somewhere else. Or they go somewhere else.
With back pay. Right. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean?
Now you're talking about the FOP is going to fight for these officers.
Oh, absolutely.
Now I will say.
Oh yeah.
Now what I will say is that the president of the FOP in Minnesota said that they're not backing Officer Chauvin, and he was the main guy. He was the superior officer.
Yeah, about the other three.
Well, they are supporting the other three.
There you go.
You know why? You know why they're not backing Chauvin? Because this is the first time that people saw evil live. See, they never see evil live. Like we read it in the books, the history.
Right.
We've heard the ghastly stories about lynching and so forth. You know what I mean?
Right.
We heard about James Byrd, but we didn't see what happened to James Byrd.
Right.
Emmett Till. We didn't see this. This was the first time that the camera was on his face, and they saw a conviction of hate and evil in his eyes. That is why they're not backing.
Right.
I see.
That's why.
Right.
Because how can you deny what they saw?
Right. And also some of that, and I work in it, some of it's politics. Some of it's clear politics. You know that you can't support certain, right. Some of that, like I said, it was easy for the mayor to fire him because he was seeing his city going up and down. Right. That's not the hardest decision. If I was an aide to the mayor, I would say fire them all too.
Right.
That's not the hardest decision. Maybe even the DA may have said, I got to charge these people because my city is burning. But the question is, like you said, is that DA ready to go all the way to charge? Politics plays it. They not living in a. Listen, the Philadelphia FOP, they'll support cops all the time. But if that's that really egregious cop, they're like, wait a minute, I got to save the other 40. So I'll let this one go.
Right, we'll sacrifice
one. And what I'm saying is, this is longer term. Politics plays a role in every day. I try to tell people all the time, you are not born in this country unless the government gives you a birth certificate. And you are not dead in this country until the government gives you a death certificate. Government impacts you from the day you were born to the day you die. So if you say that government's not important, you are basically saying the things that impact my day-to-day life isn't important. Trash is a government issue. Pick it up? Don't pick it up. Cops. Municipal is a local issue. Firefighters are a local issue. Taxes are a local issue. Health department, we going through the COVID. The city health commissioner, that's a local issue. So a lot of these issues that you think don't impact you every single day. And I want people to be involved every single day. I'm not asking you to take care of the whole city. I'm asking you to do this. Start at your house. do your porch. Do your porch to your sidewalk. That's all I'm asking. Now, if everybody did their sidewalk, we'd have a better city. I'm not asking you to save the world's problems. I'm just asking you to do little things that will make life easier for you. I think people try to bite off more than they can chew when we can just do little things to improve your life. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm telling you, when I grew up,
Right.
we lived in a neighborhood. Everybody was poor.
That's right.
So it was normal.
Right.
Everybody was poor. We didn't know we were poor because everybody was poor. Right?
Right.
But what we did have was the spirit to help one another.
That's true. And
this is what I mean. My grandmother would cook for the neighbors who might not have it tonight. And they would do that for us. So they shared.
Yep.
They shared what little they had to make sure that we all survived.
Right.
We were like a family, but we were community.
Right.
Take this down to Miss Jones. Take this pot of beans down there.
Yep.
You know why? Miss Jones ain't got no food.
Right. And we've lost that. And we've lost that in community.
We don't have that anymore. Many of us don't even know our next door neighbor.
That's true. That's true.
Or we say, I don't deal with them. I don't know them. I don't deal with them. I ain't dealing with them.
True.
And that's the spirit you may be trying to reaffirm.
That's what I'm trying to reaffirm. You're right.
That we need to at least be concerned about our neighbor's child.
Right. Right.
That's sitting on the step that could be possibly be snatched by someone, but you'll walk right past.
That's true.
Unconcerned.
Listen, if we don't care
Where
about...
did we get this from?
Right.
Where did we get this type of attitude from? We need to change that type of attitude in the community. Then you might see some headway. You may start saying, well, I care about brother. I care about sister. Enough to say, are you all right?
Yep.
Miss Jones can't make it to the store. Can I go to the store for you?
Yep.
That's where it starts.
That's true.
That's love.
And
what I'm saying is there are
I think what Minister Ishmael
that do that.
Right. And so we're talking about being unified, right? And that's a whole another segment right there. Now, if
I just want you to have a self-interest in your own thing. You ain't even got to be unified in your own self-interest.
Right.
We all have self-interest.
But let me tie this back into to the whole George Floyd thing, because one of the things, if we're unified, then we have to force them to make the right decision, to make the right call, to charge the officers, to make sure that they spend the first-degree murder, not second-degree.
Here's the flip side. There's two sides to that coin. Either you force them or you recognize that the system itself is a failure. Is a failure, because how long you going to keep depending on a system that has failed you for over 400 years?
That's right.
Now, I'm about to ask you a question. One of the, as I was looking at the policies, the platform of Vice President Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris, the one thing that I did not see is reparations.
You know why? Because she wouldn't be the running mate.
Right.
Now, when she initially stepped out there, she played with the emotions of black people, because that was on the tongue of every black American, Afro-American at the time. Reparations. So she used that to excel herself at that point in the eyes of the people. But now when she went to Mr. Biden, check Mr. Biden's record, dealing with us, and you'll see where he is. You know what he said? In order for you to run with me, you got to scrap all that. I don't want to hear nothing about reparations. I don't want to hear nothing about compensation to our people. I don't want to hear nothing about America being challenged for the wrongs that she has done for 400 years. We're trying to, as Kennedy said, we're trying to what? Bring it together, not pull it apart. So that's Biden's move. That's why Kamala can't do that. She's a political person.
Right.
As my brother said, she has a goal that she's trying to ascertain. I don't knock her for it, but I do understand you manipulating the people That's how you got up.
And here's another thing on the issue of reparations. Once again, in order for reparations to happen in this country, people have to remember the president can say he won it, but it's got to be appropriated by Congress. And I tell people, there are not enough votes in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate that would approve a reparation bill. That's just the reality. That's the political reality of it. There are not enough members of the Black Caucus. There are not enough members of the Latino Caucus. There's not enough white people that will get you the votes.
Well,
I'm going to say this.
I know. Mitch McConnell said that we already got reparations because we elected Barack Obama.
No, but what I'm saying is this. If folks across the country want reparations, one of the things that you need to do is when these folks are running for election, you need to ask them the question. Do you support reparations? Yes or no? And that needs to be something that's asked to all 500 plus people who are running. 100 senators, 425. You got to ask those questions. I can tell you, in Montana, Kentucky, Ohio,
Utah,
they're not asking those questions. So
that doesn't benefit them to ask those questions.
No, but what I'm saying is, you got, like, okay, Martin Luther King got the 65 Voting Rights Act.
Correct.
Because he did strategy. He counted votes. And that's politics. You got to count votes. And there's not, and people might be mad hearing me say this, but there are not enough votes in the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate for a reparations bill. I'm going to tell you, there's at least one black man that probably wouldn't vote for a reparations bill. That'd be Tim Scott, the black senator. He probably wouldn't vote for a reparations bill because it would hurt him. That's all I'm saying.
I would agree with you simply because that is the wrong mechanism. Because the mechanism is to get international pressure
at the United Nations level.
At the United Nations on America. That is what we are trying to do. Right. We're trying to apply pressure to America to relinquish and say, listen, they right. We need to give them reparations. Right.
And that's my point. They have to be forced.
They got to be forced.
And you can't force it within the system.
No, you can't use the system against the system. You have to have, just like George Floyd, you know what made that thing powerful? The international world started protesting. People started protesting in London. Black folk, white folk, minorities, they was Asians in London, they was protesting. They was what? They were backing the rights of us here in America. That lets you know internationally you can get support if you have the right program.
And once again, that's politics. That's pressure.
Well, it is political.
It's political. It's geopolitical.
It's geopolitical.
It's geopolitical.
I would agree with that.
It is geopolitical. But that's why I'm trying to tell people. All politics matter. This stuff is not hard, but you got to understand the interconnectivity. And that's all I'm saying to people. If I can teach you, I can teach you. It's not rocket science. It isn't. Trust me. I deal with elected officials every day. Many of them are smart. Many of them are not. Okay? But it's not rocket science. It's of knowing how things happen. Organizations that know how things happen, they push the lever of power and get stuff done.
So let me ask you guys this, because I want to go back to at the top of the conversation. Donald Trump had no political affiliations in the sense that he was not. I mean, he gave monies to politics, so I guess we could say that was that's a piece of it. But my point is, he was not a governor, he was not a congressperson, he was not even a committee person on a block. He's a businessman. Yet he came down those escalator steps at Trump Tower 4 years ago, announced that he was running. People, including myself, thought he was a joke. Okay? We're talking a former reality TV star. And really not even a good businessman, because basically his success has been filing bankruptcies. Okay?
Yeah, but I disagree with you there. There you go. His success is the knowledge of business.
Okay.
He has the knowledge of manipulation of business.
Okay.
See, in order to file bankruptcy, you need to know the science of why you filing for bankruptcy and how to manipulate it in your favor. The man, see, we run around saying, oh, he's an idiot. But we really don't understand. This man understands business.
So Ishmael, how did he? Right. So I'll give you that. Right. He's devious in the way that he manipulates business and opportunity. The man has not paid taxes for 18 years and then brags about it at a debate.
Let's stop there for a minute. Wait, just hold on for that. You say he didn't pay taxes. What he did was manipulate your tax law.
Right.
Your law said he didn't have to provide to pay the taxes.
Right.
As a person that he was.
Right.
He didn't do anything that you shouldn't learn how to do.
Right.
He just used what you said there. He said, that's your law.
That's right. That's right.
Don't get mad at me because I use your law.
Right.
See, you got to understand, knowledge is knowledge. Whoever has it, you can be a baby, you can be a grown person. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can be evil or you can be good.
Okay.
Knowledge can be used either way.
So how did he hijack, Minister Ishmael, the Republican Party?
He didn't hijack it.
Well,
He didn't hijack it. This is what he did. Donald Trump did not hijack the party. What Donald Trump did, the Republican Party of today,
right,
has been in the making for 35 years. He just tapped into the vein.
I see.
So it's not like this has been the oh my God, how did it suddenly happen? Modern Republicanism went out in the 80s. They have been, when you give power to your most vocal, your most virulent states and counties, he just tapped into a vein. The question was, the other candidates ran a normal race. He tapped into the vein that was already there. He tapped into the guy who lived in Scranton, who felt that his job got taken by immigrants. Right. He tapped into the white woman who felt that he was sexy because I saw him on The Apprentice.
Or she has a fear every time she walks past a black man,
right? Or she sees
or Mexican,
crime. Or she sees crime. Right. So he tapped into that fear of the Republican Party, and like a lot of things, just like what happened with Joe Biden. Remember when Joe Biden went to South Carolina? South Carolina won the presidency for him because he went.
That's
Donald
correct.
Trump hit that pedal and he took everybody in the dust, and everybody like Lindsey Graham and all those people were trying to be the normal Republicans and saying he's not good for the party. But the people that like Donald are and I'm not going to say but they are the NASCAR loving,
Confederate flag waving.
Not all of them. Some of the common folks,
right?
The common white folks
that like him too.
They like him because his ideas remind them of their grandmother's grandmother's grandmother.
That's right.
Ideas.
Of a better America.
Yeah. See, America has always been the heaven for those people who immigrated here and took it from the Indians. So to now see it being pulled apart in their estimation, he brought that idea back to him. I'm going to give it back to you.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to make it great again.
Right.
I'm going to put you back in control where you have lost control.
Right.
So I can't knock that because that has always been the systematic racist idea that these people have always had since they came to America.
And that's why I'm saying he tapped into a vein that's been building over 35 years in the Republican Party. And now that it's out, it's never going back. This is a Trump Republican Party throughout. Look at how powerful he is within the Republican Party.
That's correct.
He can send a tweet that says, I like this candidate over another person, and his millions of followers will do whatever he says. That's why I'm telling people.
Let's talk about
and we will. But that's another thing I want to do.
He sent a tweet, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, to the postmaster, suggesting, not even really suggesting, but saying that, well, the Democrats are going to try to steal the election. Remember, if Biden does win, it's because it's rigged, and part of that rigged process is the U.S. Postal. So therefore, just from a tweet, the postmaster has to adhere to it, had to be summoned before Congress. Now, of course, he backed down, but the reality is mail has slowed down.
But here's the other thing about the tweet. The tweet itself, the mechanism of using social media, he got from Obama.
That's what I'm saying, right.
But he used it skillfully to a point where people was like, remember at one time he was tweeting almost every day, 2-3 times a day, boom, 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 boom. And now he has mastered the tweet to manipulate social media to get his point across. That's more than television.
Yep.
You know, remember, campaigning actually was television and radio at one time.
That's true.
That has become antiquated. That's antiquated now. Social media is now the hyper-modern way to politic yourself. And he tapped into it, again proving he's not an idiot as like our people presume.
Oh yeah, please don't believe Donald Trump's an idiot.
But also,
please don't. That's your fallacy. Is thinking he's an idiot.
But let's also remember too, Donald Trump is being helped by multinationals, right? He's also being helped by Russians, Vladimir Putin, the Chinese president, I'm sure the Ukraine president.
These are all things that
Saudi Arabia.
Not been proven yet now. You're saying these things, but they have not been proven factual to the masses yet.
Okay.
Now it's on everybody's mind about Putin and Russia and that and this and that and that. But it has not come out to be proven as actual fact. Not yet.
Well, we have the Robert Mueller report.
Okay, but let's say that's true. You still got to be smart to do that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's what we're saying. I'm going to tell people, I've been to the Republican National Convention in 2016. Anybody who underestimates Donald Trump is a fool because he is smart. He is smart. He knows his base. He's going to focus in on that base. All the same people that brought him to the dance. That's all he's getting for.
Well, he's
not looking for minorities. He's not looking for behind the tent.
Right.
He's doing everything. I can tell you, he's sticking with his game plan. And people better.
That ain't no guarantee you're gonna win.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying this for
no guarantee. Right. No guarantee.
But I'm saying that. Just be careful how you view him.
Right.
That's all we're saying. I'm not a Donald Trump fan.
Oh, me neither.
By far.
Right.
I'm not a fan of Biden by far. I don't like neither one.
Right.
I don't care for none of their politics. But if that's your thing, make wise choices.
That's right.
If that's what you do, you know what I mean? Make the proper choice and analysis. Research the people that you believe that you want to vote for. I'm not going to tell you one way or another because that's not me.
And you and I agree on that. I tell people all the time. The late Congressman Lucian Blackwell, the late Philadelphia City Councilman Lucian Blackwell, told me something one time I've never forgotten. He says, I have no permanent friends.
And no permanent enemies.
I have no permanent enemies, but I have permanent interests. And voters vote on their permanent interests. And people need to start doing that. If I am an African American and I'm seeing the two candidates run for president, which one is better in my interest, in my estimation? Some black folks are going to vote for Donald Trump. Some are going to vote for Joe Biden. But you need to go into that looking at your personal interest. Don't go in with emotion. Don't go in with everything else. You need to look at this and say, which one is in my permanent interest? And I believe that for most African Americans, people of color, there is one person running for president who would do better for our community than another. But the decision is yours. But what I'm saying is you got to do your homework. Democracy's not a spectator sport. You can't just phone it in. You got to do it every day. And those that do it every day benefit. I tell people this isn't an every 4-year event. You and I agree to disagree.
I disagree.
We agree to disagree.
The politics of America altogether.
Right, but that's the game.
That's not me.
Right, but that's the game we got.
Being a contemporary Muslim in America. I do not agree with the politics of America. I do not think it's advantageous for our people to gain human rights. I'm going to put that out there so we can understand that.
Right. Oh, I agree.
Conversation-wise, what you're saying, for those who do believe in politics, makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Conversation-wise. Oh, no. But understand, it don't apply to me.
Oh, no,
I feel.
Listen, we agree.
You know what I mean?
We agree to disagree, but I'm just saying.
But what you're saying makes sense.
Right,
if that's what your game is.
Right. And I'm just letting you know what the game is.
If that's your game,
right.
Politics,
right.
Then you need to make some serious research.
Yes, yeah.
You need to do some research, and you need to find out how can it best serve my people.
Right. Now, and I say that for every election, but not just president, local elections, state elections, all of them.
Understood. Now, is the pandemic political? I ask this because
the pandemic will become political because it's a major issue.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But you have thousands of Americans who have died.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. You have I'm just going to say you have Mr. Number 45, president. People dying left and right. He dragged his feet for several months while other countries completely closed their borders down. Finally, at the 11th hour, in fact, he didn't even think it was important to wear a mask. He had to be dragged into basically shutting America down for just a very temporary time. The states in the South, he pressured them to open up, such as Texas and Florida and Georgia. So they quickly opened back up, maybe a month and a half. Well, you're not even given the pandemic time to make a curve, to flatten. So what I'm saying is now you're really playing with fire, which is why we have an uptick of the pandemic. There was as Obama and Biden have said, before they left office, they left a game plan to handle potential pandemics, and Trump completely dismantled it. Now we have a surge, a second surge of it, and like you said, hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and more are going to die as we move forward. And what does Trump do? He talks about, well, the economy was going so great, but then this pandemic that the Chinese brought over here, now he's blaming China. He is lamenting the fact that he had to close down America for a little bit, and that it's affecting the. I'm like, wow, how callous, how unconscionable, and now you make it a political game. You're dealing with people's lives.
Well, but everything is political. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Everything, the response to COVID, the response to states, how states are shut down, is political, and this will come up in the election. That's what I'm saying. Everything is political in this country. Everything.
And Vince, let's also add this piece. So who gets hit hardest? African.
Correct.
Descended people.
Right.
African Americans in the inner city are disproportionately affected by the contracting of COVID-19.
So what I'm saying is people need to factor in his record, his handling of issues when we get to the election. But you need to factor in everybody, not just the president, but you need to factor in the Congress, you need to factor in the Senate. All I'm saying is this is broader than people. Politics has emotion in it, but the best tacticianers take emotion out and focus. They're like the nation. Well, when the nation does something, they focus. They focus.
Let us reflect for a moment on the situation. And it's difficult to present this to the people, but COVID-19 expresses God's disappointment with America. It's a plague. It's a plague on the people. And if you go through the scriptures, as we being scriptural people, as a Christian, as a Muslim, you can reflect on scripture and see that there was a moment in time when Pharaoh was hit with plagues. Why? Because Pharaoh refused to acknowledge God. So God sent plagues to humble Pharaoh. Like he said, well, Trump, he was lagging on this. You know why? Because Trump didn't believe it actually was occurred. He didn't, this ain't real.
That's right.
Why are you not wearing the mask?
I don't trust my doctors.
This stuff ain't really happening. Because in his mind, he did not believe that it was a real plague on America. He still don't believe it. But it is a plague on America. It has humbled America before the world. And he said there are other countries, China, and other countries who acknowledged it and went in to handle the situation. America did not. Because it actually seems like this plague was specifically designed to help bring America down. The economic system, it humbled it, right? It crushed America's economic system. It's still crushing it right now today. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things going on that our people inside of this need to protect themselves. And there is certain things that we, as the Nation of Islam, under Sayyid Muhammad, is telling the people that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to do, as far as eating and fasting, to protect your immune system, because this is not going nowhere. It's going to keep getting worse before it gets better.
And I think that this is going to come up as an issue in the election. And that's what I'm saying. Listen to me. Every major event that happens in the country or in the world between now and November the 3rd is going to come up in this presidential election. Whether it is ongoing COVID and how it's treated, how the economy goes, how the unemployment rate goes up and down, whether we have another riot, whether we have any major thing that happens is going to impact this election. It just happens. They always call it in politics the October surprise. You never know what's going to happen in October. Donald Trump may all of a sudden in October announce a cure. Right? Like, I got a cure for it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. The stock market could go up. It could go down. You always have to be prepared. But the one thing I can tell you, as a person who deals with politics, is everything is going to get amplified between now and election day. That's what I'm saying to people. So people need to be ready. Elections matter. You need to come out with a plan and vote. Now we know that the U.S. mail system is being impacted. A lot of people are going to be voting by mail. Get your ballot early. No matter what state you're looking at, you need a mail-in ballot. Order that sucker quickly, right? Once you get it, take it back to the polling place. Send it to the people you need to before the deadline. If you can physically take it down to get your vote in. Stand in line, because polling places this year in many cities are not going to be in the place that you're used to. So don't get frustrated.
You know what this remind me of?
People need to be ready.
This remind me of
people need to be ready. That's all I'm saying.
In the South, when the
when they used to do jelly
used to stand at the voting,
right?
When the people come out to vote,
right?
And they would incite fear on the people so much so that
intimidation.
Intimidation. This what this moment kind of reminds me of.
Right. And Trump had said that he's going to send police officers or whatever at the voting spot.
Because I'm telling you, in the end, this mail-in vote and all this stuff is going to be manipulated. Because they have a plan in mind. They have a plan in mind. In fact, I'll tell you. No, I was just saying this. I think that they already know who will be president.
Because they already rigged the system?
Yep. I think they already know. And I think all of this is just to manipulate the people to gain their interest to say, see, we doing something for you. I'm telling you, I think they already know. I think it's already been mapped out by the elite. Those people sitting in high offices to say, we're going to put this person here and we're going to get rid of this person. I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't care. Because that's not my interest. But I guarantee you, they already know. They know who's going to be the president. They already know. And you watch what happened with this voting stuff. This is going to be a mess.
Yes. Yeah.
And black people are going to get hurt again. Again, I promise you, you're going to put all your hope in these people. And it's going to fail. Because it always has failed since we've been here for 400 years. Before they even allowed us to vote, they didn't even think we were human beings. They didn't even think we had earned the right to go into their court system and even charge them in the court system. Trust me. It ain't even about us. It's about white America. It's about resurgence of white America. You just an incidental. But do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. But I'm telling you, when it fails, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt real bad. Because we so loving. We so caring. We so believing. We think everybody is good. That's how we think. Because we let God like people. So we really believe there's gotta be some good in this person somewhere. But it ain't. We'll see.
Well, I'm just gonna. I just urge people to come out and vote. That's all I do.
And I love you for that.
And I know I do. I appreciate that because I'm a big believer in democracy. When it works, it works. And you know what? And I respect that. I respect your no love for democracy.
No love for
brother.
That system.
Listen, I respect it. But all I gotta say is this: it's the game on the block.
I got you.
So if you, unless you're gonna change the game, learn the game that you got.
I say create your own game.
Okay,
that's what I say.
All right.
Trust in self.
I agree.
Love self.
Okay.
If you believe you need a political asset and a political party that much, create your own.
And I agree.
Create your own.
I agree. And I tell people that can be done within the system that you have.
Well, now I ain't even talking about the system.
Right. With the system.
I wanted to say the other part. With the system. Create your own system. If that's what you believe in so much, create your own system. And support that.
Right. And as 12 million African Americans, we can create a system and have influence.
12 million.
Yeah, that's just the low million nationwide.
Oh, because we got 45 million Afro descendants in America.
Okay. All right. Right. So, like I said, if you did
your own system,
if you did 45 million, that's an influence.
In fact, why don't you just come and ask the next something about creating a system? We already can teach you how to do it. All you gotta do is ask us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you want a system, if you want a constitution, if you want to know how to put things in order, come ask us. Understand us, man. We'll teach you.
Okay.
But at least try. Do it on your own. Don't keep putting all your love
in one part system. That's true.
I just can't.
No, that's true.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And I would not. I would not ask my people because I love my people. And I love you.
Oh no, but we agree.
You know what I mean?
You and I agree.
Don't do it.
Oh no, we agree. We agree. Listen, we two black men that agree. Like I said, I'm a guy who's on the inside,
and I'm on the
outside. And you need both.
That's right.
You need both.
You need
and
both.
I say, Vincent, what you just said there,
you need people on the inside, people on the outside.
So true. The fight has to be both within and without.
That's right.
I would agree. That's why we're doing this.
That's right.
That's why we're doing this.